Good morning, good afternoon, good night. As always, hope you guys are having a good day, good afternoon, good night. Today's YouTube video is going to be how to get free horsepower out of the S650 Mustangs. Mustang went ahead and with their intakes, they put like a carbonized air trap on the inside of it to be able to still do these V8s. And super easy to take out, probably takes 20 to 30 minutes to take out. But the reason we're inside the car is because we're going to go do a 60 to 130 test, see what time we get on that for a completely stock S650. We're going to come back. I'm going to record doing, I guess not really the install, but the uninstall. And then we're going to go back out, do one more 60 to 130, and see if we can shave a little bit of time off. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get a quick start, or a cold start.
Expand.
Gotta switch the car.
KA band. Laser.
Gotta put the car in track before we get the cold start in. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so
GPS connected.
we're gonna cruise around for a little bit, let the car warm up, and then we'll hit the highway, and yeah, see y'all in peace. So we just made it over to Mexico. Car is still warming up a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead, throw it in the drag mode. Let's see here. Alright, so whenever it's in the drag strip mode, your RPMs, whenever it's just in normal drive, it shifts sooner. It shifts later, closer to red line. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fully turn off traction control all the way. There we go. So once we're gonna jump on the highway, but once the car warms up a little bit more, we're gonna shift down, probably start from a 50, get to 130, and then I'll throw up, after we do that, I'll throw up the draggy. We'll see what it says, go home, take out the carbonized filter inside the intakes, and then rerun it. So got a couple things we got to do before we can see the difference, but for y'all it's gonna be fairly quick. So let's jump on the highway. Alright y'all, just made it back to the crib. We got the Mustang pulled up here in the driveway. So let me grab the tools that we're gonna need. And but we're gonna be taking these off right here, taking all the hosing off, and then yeah, so I'll just show you guys how we're doing it, but let me grab everything we need and then we'll get right into it. Alright guys, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pop these back here on both sides. We're just gonna take this off, and you can see the actual filters there. We'll just put those on the ground for now. Man, it's still so cold out here that, like, I don't know, I might have to put on a hat or something, gloves. But alright, so we got both filters off. Next thing, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take the whole thing out of here. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take these bolts off. I'm just gonna take the whole thing out so it's easier to do. And this is a 10mm here. So we'll go ahead and take this out. You guys don't have to see me taking the bolts out. I gotta hold my camera and do this at the same time, and I don't want the bolts to fall down in. But these first couple things are super easy to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those bolts out and then I'll come back. Alright guys, so we got these bolts off. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start unhooking the hoses. So this hose over here is super easy. What you want to do is just push down here and then grab it from the back side and then push up on the top and just pull it back. So I'm going to try to set the camera up. Let me see if I can set it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So what you want to do is push down on the bottom here and then hold it on the back side and push up on the top, and you'll just hear a little click, and then you can pull it back, and then the hose should just be able to wiggle its way out. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clip it back again, just so I don't lose that back piece. Now, going on to the other side over here on the bigger hose. This hose on the back side, you just pull down on it and it should pop right out. So let me angle the camera to where you guys can see, and then I'll go ahead and do that. So I couldn't find a good angle, but there's a little flab of plastic down here. You can kind of see where my hand is, but you just flex this back, and then you should be able to just pull this right out. Let's see if we can get it here with one hand. Almost got it. There we go. It's a little tight on there. You got to pull a little bit. But so that's both of the hoses. The next thing we're gonna get into is this one right here. This is super easy. You just got to pop that back, and you want to be careful with these because this is your sensors, and if those break, they'll be pretty expensive. On the other side, it's going to be the exact same thing, just on the bottom side. So all you got to do is just pull that back, and then you should be able to just wiggle it right out, just like that. So I'm going to start loosening up these that are holding it. Both of these are 6 millimeters, so you have one here, one here, one here, and then that one there. So we're going to do that, and then we'll get into the easiest way to take that out, because you don't want to just be ripping on this and then have loose wires. So let me go grab 6 millimeter, and then I'll take those out. My apologies, this is not a 6, this is an 8. I found everything but an 8, so let's see if we can focus. It won't focus, but anyways, a 5/16 will work too. So we're just gonna go ahead and loosen this up. Hard to do with one hand, but so I'm gonna set the camera down, but we're gonna loosen this to the point we can pop it up on both sides. Let's see if we can get this out of here already. Alright, so we should be able to just pop the filter off now. I gotta probably wiggle it a little bit, but so let me set down the camera. There we go, got that out. And then you can do the same thing to the other side. Loosen this up.
That should be about good. Set the camera again. And just wiggle it off. There we go.
Alright, so now we got the two up here. So should be able to set my camera up right there and just reach over and hang on. I think these ones are the 6, so those ones are a little bit smaller. So let me see if I can find a 6 really quick. Alright, so I didn't find a 6, but a 7 will work. It's a little loose. Actually, the 7 works pretty good. It might be a 7. So we're going to go ahead and loosen this up so we can get it off of the throttle body. That's probably good enough. Then same thing to the other side here. Alright, and we should just be able to wiggle these off of the throttle body now. Loosen it up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna leave that there because we can't pull on it yet. There's still one wire connected. Loosen up the other side a little bit more. Alright, okay, so last wires we have is these here connected in there, and these clips aren't supposed to be reusable. So if you see, if I flip it over, you can see that it's one of those terribly created kind of like pin type of clips, and these aren't supposed to be reusable. But what you can do is you can put, I think it's a 5mm on this. Yeah, this one's going to be too big. And then you can pull it out from the other side. So let me go ahead and find actually what size it is, and then I'll come back. I had to deal with a couple phone calls, but I got a 732 here. And what I'm going to do is I'll put this on the back side here. You just got to push down on it a little bit. And then put this, oh, you got to take this in first. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but it's super simple. And then I'm going to pull this back clip out here. Alright, I'm going to set the camera down, pull the back clip out, do the same thing to the other side. And then the intakes will be completely out, and we'll jump into getting that this out. You can actually see it right here. That is probably so restricting, and we're going to go ahead and take this sensor out, because if you mess this sensor up, the car is pretty much dud, and it's not too cheap of a fix. So we're going to take this out, and then I'll get to taking out the sensors before we actually take out what's restricting the airflow. Alright, y'all, so a little bit change of plans. This thing is pretty hard to get out here, and I don't want to take it out and break it. So what we're going to do is we'll flip this back over. We're going to put it up like this. We have to take this sensor off, because if you don't, it's pretty hard to fix. And then when you put it back on, it has the arrow facing towards the throttle body. So we're going to take this out for now and be super careful taking that out, because like I said, if it's a bunch of electronics, if you break it, you got to pay for it. So let me go ahead and grab the tools I need to take that out, and then we'll jump into it. Alright, so what you're going to need is one of these star-shaped things. I just got it connected to this here. And like I said, be super careful taking out this sensor, because it can break. And you also want to make sure that no dust or anything is flying near your throttle bodies, because if something gets stuck in there, that'd be pretty bad. And this is plastic, so you want to make sure that you're careful with it and you're not pulling on it too much. Man, bending over like this, I'm gonna need a good massage. I keep hitting my throttle body. Should be able to just hand spin these out the rest of the way. So there's one. Like I said, be super careful with this. It has a bunch of electronics on it, so you set this bolt to the side, and then I'll show you guys. So you guys can see here, this piece right here, this pretty much senses how much airflow is coming in, and pretty much keeps the car running, to be honest. Just that little piece right there. So you want to be super careful with this. I'm gonna go set it on a bench that's completely clean. So give me 1 second. Alright, so you're going to want to look at the side that's closest to here now that we got the sensor out. And you can see you want to keep this in here, but there's another one that's a triangle. And preferably if you have needle nose pliers, I got some snipping pliers here. But you just want to go into the corner here, and we're going to grab onto this, and let me see if I can do it with one hand here, but you just want to grab onto it and then pretty much twist. It's plastic, so it should break pretty easily. So if I got a hold of it, I'm just trying to do it with my left hand, but I gotta set the camera down, so hang on. So you guys can see we snipped it off. Now we just have to fish this triangle thing out. And so yeah, that's what this looks like. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to reach down in there and try to find the bottom of this. You can kind of see it right there where my finger's pointing. And we're going to grab that and just unravel it out. So I'm going to set up the camera to the best of the ability so you guys can see this. So hang on. Kind of gotta unravel it in here. And this material is almost like a foam, so it's restricting it a lot, but you guys can see you kind of just boom, and it's out. So throw that on the ground. Now it's a straight shot all the way through. You can see you got one more triangle thing you have to break off. So I'm going to reach down in here and I'm going to break off kind of what was left of the last pieces. That's on the corners. Let's see if we can. Then just this last one is going to be the tricky one to get because my pliers don't fit very well. Alright. So I just reached up there and pulled this triangle thing out, and it's okay if it sticks out a little bit. That's not going to be the end of the world, but you can see there's nothing there anymore. So we're just going to do that same thing to the other side, and then we'll put it back on. But so far it's a pretty easy process. It doesn't take too long and it's free. So it's going to do the same thing to this side. Break those off, pull it out, break the bottom one off, and then we'll be good. And bolting everything in. So let me go through all this triangle pieces in the trash really quick. So like I said, you want to be super careful with these, and you know which way they go. So throttle body will sit in there just like this, and then you have an arrow on here that points to where the throttle body is. So I'm gonna go ahead and gently place this in here, just like that. And I'll go grab the screws and tighten this in right here. And you don't have to be too aggressive. It is plastic, so you do want to be fairly careful with it so you don't break it. But pretty much everything we did previously is just going to be in reverse now. And like I said, you want to be fairly gentle with this. It is plastic, so you don't want to tighten it too much. So we're going to tighten that side just right there. Get the other bolt. And tighten this side as well. So I'm trying to move my hands so you guys can see. Like I said, it doesn't have to be too tight.
Twenty minutes later. One eternity later.
So now that we got the sensor back on, we can go ahead and plug this in here. Push the clip down just like that. We're going to go ahead and put on the filters before we drop it down into place. So let me go ahead and grab the filter really quick. I'll set you guys up. And that's going to go right down into there. So it should be able to sit nice and pretty with no issues. So we'll go ahead and we'll set this up here and just wiggle it back on. And you want that facing down, so hopefully it can just pop into place. Alright, so that's back on. Alright, so the camera died, so we're back over to my phone. But like previously, since we connected this so this black piece doesn't fall off, we're going to pop it down, hold it on the back side, pop it up, pull it back, and then push it onto the hose. It's going to be harder for me to set up my phone than it was my camera, but I hope that's an okay view for you guys and you can actually see. If not, then you won't even see this clip, to be honest. And then we're going to pull it out. And actually what we'll do first, so we'll leave that there. We're gonna put this onto the throttle body. So just gotta line it up and wiggle it on here. Gotta make sure everything goes down into place how it's supposed to. What's nice is if you got to turn this a little bit, you still can because it's loose. But we're just going to wiggle it on there just like that. Make sure it's on the back side as well. Boom. And if you did it correctly, your filter should pop into place there and be facing down. And you can put the bolt here, and then we can now just easily make sure you're holding the back clip so it doesn't fall, but push this on, boom, clip it in. So that hose is in. We have our map sensor back in. So all we have to do now is just put this bolt in and tighten these down. So boom, this side is 100% complete. Everything is connected back up, and we're just going to copy everything back to this side. So we're going to put the sensor in, connect it, put the filter on, put the hose in, bolt this down, connect it there, and pop it in place. So I'm not going to record all that because it's literally following the procedures, the same thing again. Then we're gonna hit the road, do another 60 to 130, and see if we can beat a 10.22. So pretty quick for a completely stock car, super nice. But once tuning comes out, it's gonna be really nice. So, but let me go ahead and finish this, hit the road, same temperatures, everything, and then we'll see. We'll see if it really does increase power. But let's hit the road. All right, y'all. Just like last time, we're going into the drag strip mode. Exact same procedures and everything. And then we're gonna turn the traction control all the way off. And then we'll do the same roll from second gear. And so let me hop on the Mexican highway, and yeah, I'll record. This time, since I'm recording from my phone, since the camera died, I'll just record straight from the draggy. And then yeah, we'll see if we can beat 10.22, which was last time. So alright, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Making the outro now a little bit later in the day, so you guys can see there was a horsepower increase. We saved 0.4 seconds on a 6130, which is actually, that shocked me. You know, I thought we were gonna save 0.1, 0.2, but 0.4 is actually a pretty big difference when you're speaking 60 to 130. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, hit the like button, subscribe button, comment down below what you guys want to see next. Help the YouTube algorithm out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.